Hi everyone, I'm Nick from the AANA. Welcome to your April Meet the Marketer. I'm sitting here today with Alison Yorston, CMO of Suntory Beverages and Food, Oceania. Did I get that right?
You totally did.
Yes.
Nailed it, Nick.
Thank you. She has flown over from New Zealand to speak with us, especially today, of course.
Totally.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd love to hear a little bit about your career. You have quite an extensive career in food and beverage. Can we hear a little bit about it, please? Maybe a career highlight as well.
Sure. I always think that it's good to describe a career as almost like a tapestry, and it can be made up of lots of different experiences. They could be in different industries, they could be in different aisles of the supermarket. They could actually be outside of marketing, and I feel really fortunate actually to have had a lot of amazing experiences in my career so far. At the moment, I'm actually part of a huge transformation project. So with Suntory Oceania, we're creating a partnership, and it will actually be the first in world for Suntory on a global scale. So it's super exciting. And what that means is we're bringing together the non-alcoholic part of our business with the alcoholic part of our business and creating a $3 billion business in Australia. It'll actually make us the fourth largest beverage company in Oceania, and it's super exciting to be a part of that project.
Awesome. So let's dive into some of the brands that you represent. Can you tell us a little bit about some of these brands here, maybe how many brands you have in your portfolio and the variety that you work with?
Well, I feel incredibly privileged to work across an amazing portfolio of brands. As we're creating Suntory Oceania, we'll actually have over 40 market-leading brands across our full portfolio. And it's just, as I said, such a privilege to work across brands that are such an important part of our consumers' lives, be it a need for energy, a need for caffeine, a need for hydration, a need for nutrition. It's actually such a full breadth portfolio across both Australia and New Zealand, which is amazing. And I think the other thing that's such a great opportunity is our brands create such meaning in our consumers' lives. And we have a term that we talk about at Suntory, we talk about Gemba, and Gemba actually means the place. And so from a marketing perspective, the place is really all about our consumers' lives. So for us, we can deliver better opportunities to market the more we fully understand our consumers' lives, be it depth of what's going on for them, breadth in terms of what are the things that they might be dealing with. And so it's really about understanding that and unpacking that actually then helps ensure that our brands can remain really relevant to our consumers and we can optimise the value from them.
Yeah, perfect. So let's break off two of those brands, if you wouldn't mind. You talked about energy. I'm pretty interested because I feel like everybody needs more energy in their lives.
That's definitely what we're hearing from consumers, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Look, I've got 2 young children, so I can't seem to get enough caffeine at the moment. But I'd love to understand a little bit more about this giant sports drink, Maximus, please, and the V consumer. So you talked about consumers. Let's understand the difference between these two, please.
Yeah, great. Okay, so let's start with V, because V is our largest brand across Australia and New Zealand. And it's a real heartland for us at Suntory. So the V energy consumer is a way for them to make sure that they can be their best self through all aspects of their lives. And when we talk to them about why they might purchase V versus other competitors in the energy space, V brings a lot of positivity. It's all about social energy. So how can I be my best self when I'm turning up to a party, when I'm engaging with people at work, when I'm actually in an environment or a situation where I need to bring a lot of energy and therefore I can be at my best. And so that's the heart of the V brand, and that's very much what we're building on and we continue to support. The whole energy category is a really interesting category. Over COVID, we've just seen increasing amounts of growth in the category. You might think it was actually quite a mature category, but we've seen double-digit growth and it's just been outstanding. So for us, it's been how do we stay at the forefront of that? And how can we make sure that we're remaining really relevant to our consumers with their needs for energy? And I'm really proud to say that last year V became the #1 energy drink across the whole of the Australian and New Zealand market.
Yeah, love that. And tell us a little bit about the Maximus profile. Yeah, so I assume tradie. Am I right?
Yeah, you're pretty close
Hey.
there. Yeah, so Maximus is an amazing challenger brand for us in the Australian market. It's really quite unique, and it's again another example where we can bring a real local flair to actually what's quite a globally led category. Obviously, we've got some strong global competitors in this space, but Maximus really brings a whole unique Australian vibe. You know, it's created in for Australians. Specifically, it's it's a big value drink. It's actually quite delicious, and so for us, it's about playing on the nuances and really dialing up that localness as we look to continue the amazing growth that Maximus has had in the last year.
Nice. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about coffee. I feel like it would be remiss of us not to.
Yeah, everyone loves talking about coffee, especially in Australia and New Zealand, right? We really love our coffee.
We do. So I'd love to understand specifically, does canned coffee compete with the barista in the coffee shop? And I understand that you've reinvented this brand quite a bit in your tenure here. Can you tell us a little bit about the story behind that?
Yeah, well, Boss is an amazing Suntory brand. It's actually, if you go to Japan, if you're lucky enough to go, you'll probably see it in all of the vending machines around Tokyo.
Yes.
Yeah, and we often hear that a lot from Australian and New Zealanders that have been to Tokyo, and they're like, wow, yeah, Boss, I loved that when I was there. I could buy it in a vending machine. It was delicious. So what we did a few years ago is we could see how amazing this brand was globally, and we thought there was a real opportunity to develop the RTD, ready-to-drink coffee category across Australia and New Zealand. And so leveraging the strengths of Suntory and really about bringing the best of Suntory to our Oceania business, we looked at how we could make the Boss brand work. So it's really been about establishing the category, establishing our brand, and really talking to consumers about when a coffee, a coffee in a can might actually be an appropriate consumption. And what we talk about is we say, we're actually not targeting that first coffee of the day, which we know is super sacred for our consumers. A lot of them talk about the fact, I have this relationship with my barista.
Absolutely.
And I want it to be a certain way, and I'm quite particular about it. And it's the whole, occasion and experience, which is quite sacred. So for us, we've gone, okay, that's fine, we totally respect that. But there's opportunities in the day where you might reach out for your second or your third or your fourth coffee, depending on what you've got on your agenda for the day. And it's really those opportunities where you might not have time to dash out of the office, or maybe your local cafe's shut, when the convenience of a really great tasting coffee in a can just actually hits the spot.
And do you find that people store it in their fridge at home?
Yeah. Right. So in the last year, we've launched multi-packs. So you can buy them in your supermarket, and it's really, for those pre-planned coffee moments. So you probably know you're a Boss fan, and you might want to have one, or take it with you on your way to work, or have it on a road trip, or have it in the car. And it's just for those more convenient pre-planned moments.
Yeah, cool. So let's take it a level up, please. What does the Suntory Oceania brand do differently? What can we sort of pull out of that, maybe at a brand level?
Well, I'd say there's three things that we're doing differently in the market. The first one is our new multi-beverage facility that we're building in Swanbank in Queensland. Suntory globally are investing over $400 million in this new manufacturing facility, and it will actually be the biggest investment in the FMCG market in the last 10 years.
In Australia?
In Australia.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's an amazing investment, and it's great to see just the power and the belief that Suntory has in the Australian market. So that's number one. Number two, I'd say, with our Suntory Oceania partnership, it'll mean that we'll be able to have access and a view of the full beverage market. So, we won't just be looking at non-alcoholic soft drinks or RTD coffee. We won't just be looking at the alcohol portfolio. We'll be able to look at all of the beverage market, and so that will be quite unique for us in the Australian marketplace. And the third thing I'd say would be, we often talk at Suntory about our Yata Minahare spirit. I know, all these Japanese words.
Love it.
So Yata Minahare is all about having really big ambitions, being resilient, learning from your mistakes and course correcting where you need to, and just never giving up.
And how does that play out in everyday life?
Yeah. It's. I think when you look at the richness of Suntory history, there's so many examples of that through, what's happened in Japan, and then I think you relate that to our Oceania business and how we even established it. V was a product that was born in the New Zealand market and then came to Australia over 20 years ago, and now it's the market leading energy beverage across Australia and New Zealand, standing up against global competitors and with consumers that just really, really love and are totally behind the brand. So I think that's a great example of how it plays out.
Yeah, awesome. I didn't actually ask you, what's your favourite brand in your portfolio?
Oh, that would be like choosing a favourite child.
I know.
Let me say, maybe it's a politically
It's
correct answer.
No.
I'd say it depends on the time of day.
Okay.
Yeah, so I love a Boss in the morning. So especially double espresso, that's one of my favourites. Although I am a big fan. Recently we launched Rainbow Boss, and that's quite delicious. Yeah. And then throughout the day, I would reach for a V refresh. Yeah, it's just light, crisp, refreshing. Very low calories. It just tastes really good.
Does it? Okay, there you go.
Yeah, you should try one
home.
I'll give you a bag.
Thank you. All right, so let's finish things up with some rapid fire questions, please.
Okay.
This is all about you. I'd love to know what you're reading or listening to at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of the Huberman podcast. He's a neuroscientist. He works out of Stanford. Really fascinating around health and well-being.
Next holiday destination?
Well, actually next week I'm trekking with some girlfriends, and we're going to do the Abel Tasman walk in New Zealand. It's at the top of the the South Island in New Zealand, and it's absolutely beautiful. So
how many days?
Pumped. It's 4 days of hiking, 60 kilometres, and I haven't really done enough prep, so I'm just kind of hoping I'll go and it'll be fine.
And you get the cabins along the way?
Well, yeah, we do. We stay in lodges. We've kind of got to the point where we need real beds and we want real food.
And a glass of wine.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Very cool. Okay, cool. Early bird or night owl?
Definitely an early bird.
Okay. Best career advice?
I think I would say be bold. Yeah, I actually got that advice from one of my marketing directors probably about 10 years ago, and I think whenever you're at that point and you think, do I lean in or lean out? Always lean in, even though it might feel really scary.
We have a lot of marketers listening. Do you have any career advice for marketers or any final little pearls of wisdom?
I would say that a career trajectory doesn't have to be linear, and I think often when you're in the early stages of your career you think that's how it has to be.
Yeah.
But you can get a lot of richness from sideways moves, different moves. They might be to different industries, different perspectives within a company. It doesn't always have to be marketing, because it actually could help you be a better marketer.
Absolutely.
So that would be my advice. Yeah, try different things. It will make you a better marketer in the end.
Yeah. I listened recently to a podcast on squiggly line careers, where it's just, I love that idea of the ups and the downs, and describe your leadership style in 1 or 2 words.
I'd say empowering. I really try and empower my team as much as possible. And the other thing that I'm a huge fan of is lots of clear and constant communication. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really
That's
appreciate
all right.
having this conversation. I've learned a lot about beverages.
It's been a real pleasure, Nick. Thank you.
Thank you.